their priorities and mine are different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, my dad cares about weeding.
I thought you were going to say weed for a second.
No.
My dad cares about weed, and that's it. So much has changed since I've left.
I would be like, what the fuck?
That's so funny. Okay, so give me examples, man.
You know,
You said weeding?
it's just different priorities. You know, I want to get out there. I want to go and start working on my life and my career. But I am at home and need to follow rules. I need to ask before taking the car. It's just different challenges. You know what I mean? Because I don't have to pay rent. I don't need to buy food, which is great. But at the same time, I can't just do whatever I want, because someone needs to go walk the dog. Someone needs to do the chores around the house. Someone needs to put their life on hold for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. Have you, like, have you and your parents' relationship gotten better since you've moved back home?
Gotten better? I mean, it's probably the same.
Probably the same?
Yeah.
Do you have any good conversations?
Recently?
Yeah.
No. They're both working, eh?
What, your parents?
Yeah. They both work.
True.
So it's usually just me and my brother.
Hang out at home. They're like, we're at work and our two fucking scumbag sons are sitting at home right now.
As far as they know.
Yeah, true. Probably smoking weed in the bush.
Oh, yeah.
Classic high school days.
Are you ready to start?
Yeah, I'm started.
Oh, yeah? Are you actually?
Yeah.
Well, this is the can opener.
It's the fucking can opener.
Mr. Evan over here doesn't know how to fucking start his own podcast.
You want to know why I say fucking at the beginning of it?
Why?
To let them know that we're not playing by the fucking rules. That's why.
We're not playing by the rules.
Yeah.
Of podcasts.
The Christian boy just said, without the fuck.
Fuck.
That was the best part.
Uh-huh.
Alright, so, you want to start this? Is there anything you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. How's your life been?
It's been good. It's been busy.
Yeah? Are you liking life after school?
I really want a new job.
Yeah?
Yeah. I want to make some more money.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be settled, because right now, you know, I'm in that position where I'm in the house for a month.
Well, same like me.
And then I move. Yeah, but like even
transition
being
phase.
in your parents' house is way different.
Yeah.
It
is.
Than being out here. Like, this isn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be fucking...
I mean, it's not bad. But it's like, I'm starting to get antsy, you know?
It'd be bad for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the unfortunate thing.
Would your parents...
So loud.
Your parents tell you, like...
About the birds and the bees?
Oh, did they? Or did you learn it on the internet?
The internet, of course. What about you? Did your parents tell you the birds and bees?
Well, yeah. But
Did they? How'd they tell you?
I was like 11. And it was just like... I don't remember. I had a conversation.
Like, use condoms?
I was with my dad and we
said
talked.
Don't have sex till marriage.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, they are religious, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. But that's like not possible. You know what I'm saying? Think about how unlikely that is for a young, testosterone-filled human.
Is it your experience, Evan?
It is
impossible.
It would be. It'd be like you'd have to fight back so many natural urges. That just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know how much I believe.
So how were they like, don't ever have sex, but if you do, or did they just leave it at don't have sex until you're married?
I mean, you hear the stuff, you know. if you sin, you lose your whatever.
So they said you're going to hell.
Not really.
Jesus.
That's not. My parents aren't those kind of people.
Okay, yeah. No, you told me they're kind of.
Yeah. They just want us. Like, my parents have been on their own journey throughout my life.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, when I was young, we used to have Sunday school. You know, we used to sit down, read the Bible, talk about stuff like that. We never really went to church because my parents, they're not churchy people, and I'm not either.
Yeah.
You know?
So what does that mean? What's the difference between churchy people and religious people?
Well, okay. I think of churchy people as people go to church every Sunday.
Howdy, neighbor.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like going to church every Sunday, you know, giving the tithes, you know, doing sermons and all that kind of stuff. Spreading the word, that's never been my thing.
True.
It's not what I consider. I really don't like trying to convince people to believe what you believe. I like sharing ideas with people, but I really don't like trying to make someone see the way you see things.
I totally relate to that. Have you ever had a job where you had to like sell something?
Yes. Well, it wasn't a job. I was fundraising in Australia, and I was the worst fundraiser they ever had. I fucking hated it so much. I can't sell something to someone. Well, I can, but I have to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like really tough for you because I feel the same way. And it's like I hate I had a job at Santa's Village, which is a local theme park out in Muskoka, and I was like fucking 14, and this manager was like, "Go out and sell those," and it was like this little plush Santa, fucking made for 3 cents. And the game cost like $3 each, and it was just like broken down wood. I was like, oh my God, I can't fucking do this without feeling bad. But I feel like, do you ever get the thought that that might hurt your future career?
Yeah.
Because I've thought of that.
But I thought about what I wanted to do, you know, a couple of years ago after coming back from Australia. And I decided that, you know, if I had to change who I am to be successful, then I wasn't going to be successful. In the sense of having a good career, being financially stable, whatever. I'd rather not compromise myself for money. And sometimes, you know, people are like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I don't understand what you're talking about, but I don't know. I don't want to do that.
See, I understand where you're coming from. Is that compromising or adapting?
I mean, there's an argument for that. Yeah. But
I'm just curious when you think that's the line, because I think in my brain, like, wow, I should just practice that. And then I think that, okay, if I should have the right to sell people things that I think is good quality.
Well, yeah.
That's where I make the line. Like, I'm not going to sell anybody shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I think if it's worth what I'm asking for, I think it's totally good. And I need to practice that.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like, if I... You know, when I fundraised, you know, we were fundraising for... excuse me. We were fundraising to raise money to go to some of the islands in the Oceania.
I heard it's really, really bad over there.
It's not
in the
great.
Australian native islands.
It's not great. Yeah. So we were raising money to go over there so we can work on schools, build some sort of buildings, that kind of stuff. But we were selling stuff, cracking my knuckles.
Your fingers, yeah.
You don't like that? You know, we were selling like $5 chocolate bars, $10 bookmarks, $7 bracelets. And, you know, every time somebody be like, well, that's kind of expensive. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That is kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy it or not? You know?
Yeah.
I didn't like to, my like some of my friends that we were, in OLT, the fundraising group, they were good at just smiling, saying the line, doing whatever. But I couldn't do that, I couldn't just have a fake smile on my face and pretend that I enjoyed selling stuff to people.
But where was that going, though? Where was that money going to?
That was going to the
fundraising. So it's more of a donation, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you still had that, like, just not wanting to take, even though they probably fully understood that was more of a donation rather than a buy.
Yeah.
True.
It was just, I couldn't, I understood what we were doing, and I thought it was a good cause, but like I said, I couldn't just, I don't know, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not good at that. It's not what I want to do. It's not what I don't think it's what I meant to do.
Yeah. And
I hated it, but it was also, like, it was the worst 5 months of my life. But it was also the best 5 months of my life.
How could it be the worst? Yeah.
So
it was hard work.
It was hard because of the state of mind I was in.
Do you think that, like, broke a barrier within yourself, though? Do you think that, like, helped you be better at that?
At what? Selling things?
Yeah, sure. Like asking for things. Let's just say.
Maybe.
If you didn't have that 5-month experience.
I mean, if I didn't have that 5-month experience.
I just think it's important in life.
To what?
To just be able to ask for things. And accept a no and accept a yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that I think for me it did feel like I was asking people for money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I still don't like to ask people for money, but like,
yeah, I don't like to ask people for money. I don't think I'd ever would if I was ever in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But when the time comes to ask people for money, I think you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
And especially if you're offering worth, like people have this, I forget what it's called. It's like, oh my God. It's what, it's called imposter syndrome. Sorry.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. So
okay.
Let's say you become this great producer.
Okay.
And you look at yourself and you're like, I'm not worth this.
Okay.
Because I'm not. If someone's paying you $60,000 to play a show, let's just relate this to music, and you say, I'm not worth that. Uh-huh. Don't you feel like you need to practice accepting that?
Well, I think I have now.
Yeah.
But we were talking about that experience, and at that time, I wasn't good at that at that time, asking people for things.
Yeah.
Or
do you? Because I was gonna word this differently, but since you just said that, do you think that has anything to do with like self-worth?
Yeah, it did for sure.
See, that's the thing that I try to focus on. Like, that's the thing. I feel like I need to fucking put my Jay-Z on his new line, set your price and live your life, my N-word.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't want to be not confident enough in myself to put $100,000 on my name.
Yeah,
be
I
like,
feel that.
Bet on me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a part of. Do you think that's like a natural thing,
or
do you think
to not
like
realize your self-worth?
To be like confident, like have an ego. You know what I mean? That's kind of me having an ego. That's me saying I'm worth more.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a natural importance? Was that occurring like however many thousands of years ago? Or is that only because of our system?
Excuse me.
Like, you know what I mean? In a capitalist system, you're saying,
Yeah.
if that's not me, I'm not going to compromise myself.
Uh-huh.
In the place we live, it's like, it's so hard to be quote unquote successful without having that drive and without having that kind of train of thought, I think.
Well, I was more talking about being unsure of what I was. Okay, I'm trying to get into mixing, right?
Yeah.
I want to start mixing.
Is that what you want to do?
I think that's what I want to focus on.
Have you set up anything online?
I've done the freelance
thing.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Sound Better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't got anything yet, but I do want to start that.
You should pay for it, $40 a month. Mm-hmm. See if it's worth it. Put a couple $100 into it.
Mm-hmm. But anyways,
yeah.
I want to start doing that. But I know that I'm worth at least like the minimum professional rate.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Because I've done it.
Yeah.
I've learned how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm setting my worth right now.
Yeah.
And I think that I deserve that much money for working on a song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally feel it. And that's come with age, obviously, right?
Yeah. Come with age, come with experience. But I was more talking about not fully knowing where I stood in what I was trying to do. So if someone asked me to, I don't know, let's just say, for example, endorse a certain product, and I was like, I don't know about this product. I use it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't like this product. I'm not going to take your money to endorse a product I don't like. That's what I'm talking about. But if someone gave me a product to endorse, I was like, yeah, I really like this product. I'd do it because I do really like the product. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I think that's the only way to survive. I don't think you can have, if you're going to endorse a product, the only way you can survive if you call yourself a business, as a business, to make that useful for not only the product that's endorsing you, but yourself. So you want to imagine, like, if that's why this consumer marketing or oh my god, no, Jesus Christ.
That's not mine. That's mine.
This influencer marketing, sorry.
Okay.
So like that's what you're talking about, right? Being an artist and having a product. This influencer marketing is the biggest thing right now. And it's only because people trust these influencers to give them like the truth. Yeah. And if you were to lie about something like that, I don't think you're gonna last very long.
Do you remember what I told you, like, my fear was for doing something like this?
Yeah.
It was giving someone the wrong information, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I think about that, you know what I mean?
It's interesting.
By the way, did you see that Alex Galley finally got his Kemper?
I didn't know he was talking about anything. How much did he pay for it, though?
I have no idea.
$1 million? I
have no idea. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw it. I was like, cool.
Cool. Didn't happen in MIA.
You deserve the best. I was curious what all these kids are going to get up to.
Yeah. I wonder. Do you think... what do you think the success rate will be for that whole group of people? For us? Or do you think people will...
What is success rate? Being able to find a job in the music industry?
Doing what they want to do.
Oh, that'll be hard. Doing what you want to do.
Do you believe you'll be able to do what you want to do?
Yes.
That's good. I believe that you will too. And I believe that I will too.
I don't only think I don't think it's my ability to do things, but I think it's rather my ability to adapt to the situation.
Or willingness to adapt as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing that's I know I'm gonna do what I want. Because I can change my scopes. And other people are pretty generalization. Yeah, it's stubbornness. It takes a lot of, it's the way dreams manifest. You know what I mean? It's Joe Rogan was saying it. I was listening to a podcast and it's like, you can't just be the thing you say you're going to be one day. Like, how about one day you're a fucking astronaut? How about one day you're a professional golfer? One day you're a fucking cashier. Like, you are not what you create. I had this good conversation about this at work the other day with a couple of coworkers.
Oh yeah.
And shout out to Tatiana Sassiana, because she's listens to this shit. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, nice.
God bless her.
God bless.
Yeah. And I had a conversation with this kid Weston who works there, and he's like 17. I think he's 18 or 17. And he's like, you know what? I don't have to. He's like, he talked to. Sorry. So we were working, and he's like, you know what's scary, dude? I don't have a backup plan. Because he's going to go to university for what and whatever. And he's like, if I don't like this shit, I don't have a backup plan. I'm not dropping out because it's going to be too late to start. And then he's like, I don't give a fuck. I'll just... my job is just my job.
Yeah.
And I can go home and get away from my job. My job doesn't have to be... Like, I'm willing to not love my job.
Okay.
And I was just... And then Tatiana... I asked Tatiana, I was like, there's no way I could... ever like do a job I hate. That's my worst fear.
Yeah. I couldn't do that either.
Is having a job I hate.
I see his point, but I don't like your job is a massive part of your life. And to just say that you can have a job and then have your home.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And there's no crossover.
But it's like, what if you... I mean, wouldn't your life be so much better if you had a job that you liked, for crying out loud? You know what I mean?
I think so. And then Tatiana agreed with Weston.
Oh, really?
And she said she's a philosophy major at Carleton. Uh-huh. She's like, you know, you, Evan, I think the issue with your thing is you are, all right?
Yeah.
She said you are basing yourself off your job. Like, you're trying to look for you. Like, you're trying to... I don't know. I'm lost on words right now. Mm-hmm. You're trying to... She's listening to this and be like, what the fuck?
You're trying to find your way with your job? Or
no. I'm trying to create who I am through my job. Like, I'm... Too much of my job... I need to stop this.
No, I can hear you. What are you doing?
Okay, can you hear?
I hear you right now.
Okay. Too much of my job is... Too much of my job. You are... I don't know. I'm missing the word.
You are investing too much of yourself?
No, it's creating myself. Like, you are trying to be your job, not you.
Okay.
And I was like, it's an interesting argument because I think I've done that in the past, is looking for self-worth and like thinking, I don't know if this was based on like my growing up and the way my father pushed like being successful on me, you know what I mean? So I feel like for the past few years of my life, I've felt the need to create my self-worth from my job. Okay. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of people do that.
I definitely think a lot of people do that. I definitely am one of them. And I'm definitely like I came to a point where I realized that a couple months ago. And that was before she even said it to me. Mm-hmm. But she said it to me. And I agree. I think that she made me think a lot that day after we had that conversation. I was like, you know, you're very right. I am not what I do. I am who I am.
Yes. So, because right now you want to have a podcast.
Yeah. No, exactly.
That doesn't mean that's what you'll want in 20 years.
No, exactly. But I do feel like I think they're being naive at the same time. It's not about finding purpose through your job.
Mm-hmm. It's finding your purpose and finding something that will fulfill that.
Yes, exactly. It's like
you feel your purpose is to have a voice.
Yeah.
And the podcast is a way to do that.
Yeah. And it's just not about hating 45 hours of your life every week.
Yeah.
So that adds up, and that has crossover, and that's why I think they were being naive about it too. It's like you don't. Oh, yeah. I don't think people our age understand the battle within yourself when you hate your job and you're stuck at it at 35. Mm-hmm. I don't know if people look at it with the foresight of being like, wow, that sounds like a shitty fucking life. No matter, and if you have kids, if you have a family, you could still do that and be happy, of course, because you can that's where you should find your purpose, through your family.
Yeah.
But to be naive enough to say that you not doing what you want during the day is not going to affect your home life.
Oh, that's really, I don't think that's right at all.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what we were talking about before that, how we got to that.
Me neither. But that's the way it always is, man. Do you have, like, this was at Harvey's, right?
Yeah.
Do you have, like, older coworkers there? Been working there for years?
Yeah, a few.
Yeah? What do they feel about that? Have you talked to them about it?
Never.
No?
I would never bring that up.
No?
Because I know if I was in that position, I would be awfully hurt by the amount of regret I have.
Oh, shit.
But I think that's just me personally. That might not be them, but that's a reflection of me going out to... I'd be filled with regret if I was working at Harvey's and I was 50-something years old.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was like someone who was born here and shit.
Yeah.
But like Margarita is a lady, like a 50-year-old Filipino lady, and she works like 3 jobs. Oh. And it's like, I don't feel bad. I just wouldn't bring it up to her because she'd be like, it's good, I pay my bills. So like I feel like I know her answer, and she's like smart enough, but it's a different situation when you come here as an immigrant without education, without like English being your first language. Mm-hmm. It's like a different situation than if you live somewhere your whole life and then you're stuck at this literally making minimum wage, having no more skills than that even through your long years of life.
Yeah.
Pretty wild to me. Mm-hmm. Why?
You know, one of my biggest inspirations to actually try and do this career in music was working at Tim Hortons for the summer, because I was working, you know, there was kind of an even mix between young people and like 50-year-old women who were bitter as all hell, you know? And I was
those
like,
old hags, they just pissed off about
I need to go take a smoke break. I need to go take a smoke break.
You know, I found empathy through them too, because I would hate my life too.
No, they're good people.
I would hate my life too.
The problem is that, well, not the problem, but working there, I realized I really don't want to do this. I don't want to do this again. Probably have to, but I don't. Sorry. Is that?
Sounds beautiful. Some ambience and some atmosphere.
We're on the river.
Sorry, go back.
Drinking wine.
With a red and white squared picnic cloth.
Hacking darts. Oh, the illusion's broken.
Yeah, literally. Okay, sorry, what were you saying? You don't want to...
Well, working there was like, man, I don't want to... It sounds bad, but I was like, I don't want to end up like these people.
Is that bad?
It sounds bad. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel bad. I'm saying it sounds bad. I don't want to end up working at Tim Hortons when I'm 50.
Yeah.
I don't.
I kind of cringed when I said I'd hate my life too. Like, you know what I mean? You get that kind of like, that your conscience kicks in, but it's like, that's the truth. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. I would definitely, knowing me, not saying that you should. And if you don't hate your life and you're doing that, man, you're the strongest motherfucker. You're supporting your family.
Yeah. I'm not, no judgment here on you.
You do the hardest job in the world.
You do an underappreciated job.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So do you feel guilty?
No.
Have you?
Because I don't want to end up like that. Yeah. That's me. I'm like you. Like just working there for 3 or 4 months, I did in the summer. I was like, why? By the end, I was like, I'm ready to leave. I don't want to do this.
So do you think it's important to do something you hate to get motivation to do what you love?
I don't. No. I'm just saying that's how it was for me. Because after I graduated from intro, intro taught me a lot about myself, and I got a lot of good friends. But it was just like the bare minimum of the music industry, like scratching the surface. Didn't really learn a lot. And, going into MIA, I still wanted to be in a band and tour. Because my perspective on music hadn't changed by the end of intro. I went in thinking about music one way, and I exited thinking about it the same way. Same for my life. I went into intro thinking I wanted to do this, and I came out thinking I wanted to do that. The same thing.
Yeah.
But then I started MIA, and I was like, being exposed to all these different people, all these different ideas, all these different avenues, and I'm like, I'm gonna take another look at what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know?
How did that link back to that?
I'm not sure.
I really wanted to ask a question that was... We're both stoned.
Oh, shit, no.
No, we're not.
Well, I'm not.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah, so do you think that... What? So you said the people...
I think we're talking about purpose with our lives or something.
Okay, well, fuck purpose, dude. I'm here to jerk off and eat food and shit.
And live in my mom's basement.
And die. It's the only reason
Ambitions.
I'm here.
Do you have a Tumblr page?
I wish. It'd be a great outlet.
Ask John.
To get all my teen angst out of me. Let's post nudes. No one will know it's me.
Kill yourself.
Get really hurt by the hateful comments.
Shit.
Like really taking it personally when you see those hateful comments. Ouch,
Your
that
dick is so small.
Cry to myself. So you said that people, people introduce you to so many avenues. All right, is that, you want to explain that example, like why you chose to change what you were doing and how that process of changing what you were doing, was it like disappointing?
I mean,
was it like
throughout my life I've wanted to do different things.
Yeah.
My earliest goal was to become a professional soccer player because I love soccer. But then
I wrote. I read back in my first grade. My mom gave me these like scrapbooks, and I did one. I did some like through grade 1 to grade 5, and it was like, "What do you want to be when you're older?" A soccer player.
Nice.
Every white kid's dream.
I was there, and then it changed. I wanted to become a chef, and then I discovered how much I love music. I mean, I think that love was always there.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize it. And I think it's more like when you're growing up. See, I wanted to be a professional soccer player because in my life at the time, soccer was the thing I had. But then I grew up and was like, I really love food. And then I grew up, I really love music. And for me, the love at first was to be in a band and to write and record, and I still love that. And me and John definitely want to start our own band. I have a buddy who plays drums, so hopefully we can get something going. But I think it's more like when the more things you expose yourself to, and the more open your mind becomes to the possibilities that your life can take, the more things you'll discover about what you like,
Yeah, I totally agree. My boss said something good to me the other day. I heard that will probably stick with me for the rest of my life. I heard it other places, but he said he's like a 50-year-old dude and he's like 48, maybe, I don't know, 40, high 40s, and he's like, there's one thing I tell my kids, and I wish I knew when I was younger. And he was like, fail as much as you can. And that goes back to that, and like just reassessing what you want to do. Be bad at things, because that's all that's gonna do is help you get better at everything else.
Yeah. And like to answer your first question, I think it probably was a little disappointing because you have this idea that you want, and you really want it. I really wanted it.
Yeah.
And then going through MIA, I was like, you know what? I really love working in the studio. I really love recording stuff. I really love doing mixing and all this stuff behind the scenes as opposed to being on the stage. And it was it was disappointing, but also like, okay, you know what? I think I can do this though. You know?
It's kind of a dip and then it goes back up, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's disappointing until you see what's on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Until you actually, like, open the fucking fence, because you feel like you're at a wall, right? And then there's another side too. And that side's even better because you know yourself that much more.
Yeah.
And you force yourself to understand yourself.
Yes.
And forced to be real with yourself.
Yeah. And I think every time, like when I wanted to be a soccer player, when I realized I wasn't good enough to become a professional soccer player. As much as I love soccer, and I do, you know, I've coached, I've reffed, I've played for years. I was like, you know what? I could never make it in the professional leagues. And I was like, you know, I really love food. I've always watched cooking shows. I like cooking. So I was like, maybe I can focus on that. But I was like, you know what? I'm not good enough at that either. And then discovering music, and I'm like, I want to do this. But you know what? I'm good at guitar, but I'm never going to be as good as I want to be. As much as I want to be the Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I probably could, but I was like, I don't know if that's really something that I want to devote, like, hours and hours.
Thousands of hours.
Yes. Even though I do play guitar, I play it more for, I like it, you know? And I play, like, I've played some shows and I liked it, but I've never been as good at something as I am when it comes to music production and that side of things. And I love it too.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll focus on doing this then because I like it and I'm good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more of a, do you feel like you have to weigh in the opportunity for an employment too as you're getting older? You know, my views have changed so much, and I've grown so much in the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. And how much I don't like when people use the word realistic.
Okay.
But how realistic does what you want to do have to be? And how important is that to... Are you giving up on your guitar dreams? Is that what you're doing?
No, because I still want to do it. I'm just, for right now, I want to focus on the production side.
Yeah.
But like I said...
So are you being realistic?
I don't know, because if I was being realistic, I'd probably not try to make it in the music industry and get a... safe job.
No, exactly. That's where I said my definition of realistic is a little weird. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What is the definition of being realistic? It's not saying that you can't ever, or is it like looking at yourself in the mirror and be like, I can do this, but I can do that. Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's, for me, it's like, I can do this, I can do that right now.
Yeah.
I want to have a job that I have some steady income, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to try and get this production thing going. And if I can get that going, then hopefully branch out into maybe live music kind of stuff, or becoming a band, playing shows, that kind of stuff.
Do you believe in even thinking that far ahead?
Well, that's the thing I was just about to say. That's my plan right now, but I don't hold on to plans that tightly.
Like, it's not smart to have a 3-year plan or a something-year plan. Like, you can't think that far ahead, especially at where we're at now. And if you're practicing failing a lot, you're not going to want to be who you are in a year from now. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be who you thought you wanted to be a year from now. Mm-hmm.
Although I'm pretty sure, I'm sure that there are really successful people who have written down 3-year, 5-year plans and stuck to them. So I'm not saying that I think that's, stupid, but in my life experience, that's not how my life has been. So that's how I'm going to continue to live my life for now.
Yeah, it's very true. Same with me. I guess there would be people. But that's why I'm curious to have conversations with people like that, because it's not something that's usually talked about. The people who are quote unquote successful don't usually talk about the trials and tribulations they had to get to that. They don't. I don't think all of them sat down and said, this is what I'm going to be, and they got there.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
And it's not a...
Definitely some of them.
Definitely some of them.
It's interesting how my method may work for me and completely not work for someone else, whereas their method may work for them but not work for me. And it's like people, you know, like I said, I don't really believe in having a 3-year plan and sticking to it firmly. That may work for me, and yet for someone else that may like totally blow up in their face.
Do you think short-term goals are more realistic? Let's use the word realistic. More realistic than long-term? Not only in completing, but in practicality-wise?
Maybe. It does help, like a long-term goal I have is to open a studio.
Yeah.
Have my own studio. But right now, that seems a really long way away. So putting a short-term goal like buying a new piece of gear is I think that is probably a little bit more realistic, and also a bit of like you're climbing the ladder.
Exactly.
I'm putting my foot on the next step.
You gotta win every once in a while. You can't just bash yourself for your entire life until you get to there. And it's really it's hard for me to really put this into put this into practice, but it's like enjoying, because I'm not at the age where I kind of understand. I'm not at the age where I understand this in my life, is like the journey over the destination, right? Like I hear it and I understand it, but it's hard for me to psychologically wrap my head around it when I'm going for the destination. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I understand.
When you're lost in the tunnel, you can't see it.
Like my short-term goal right now is to find a place to move to Toronto, and the journey to get there is living at home for a little bit.
Are you nervous?
Not nervous. More like I'm trying to prepare myself.
Yeah.
To just like knuckle down and get ready to work.
So what are you doing for work? Have you applied for jobs? Are you looking for jobs?
Well, Stefan is going to be at a higher position at his new Starbucks.
Oh, true.
And they need people. And he said that he'll try and get me in, and maybe John if he wants as well.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
I thought John was working at a radio station.
I'm not sure about that anymore.
That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That'd been a sweet gig.
Yeah.
I'm planning to go apply at a radio station.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so go on. So you're gonna work at Starbucks until you figure your shit out?
Hopefully.
What if you're there when you're 50, bro?
Oh shit! Then I'll look back at this podcast and be like, "Man, I was fucking stupid."
I fucked up somewhere down the road. Shit did not.
It's fucking Evan's fault somehow.
Shit did not work out for me.
No.
Yeah, I can't imagine. It's my biggest fear, is doing something I hate.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe that is because I put too much purpose. I'm basing my purpose on my job rather than who I am and what I can be. You know what I mean? Who I am.
I mean, I think this is who you are, though.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I've known you for a year now.
Yeah, let's hear it. Just dissect my psychology right now.
No, you really enjoy having conversations with people.
Yeah. And
a podcast is basically having conversations with people and making money. You know what I mean?
Making scroll. Not actually, though.
So there you go.
Yeah. This is just fun, though, like I said. I think it's important. That's definitely something I've learned in the past year is, don't have... Expectations kill everything.
Yeah.
Expectations kill everything.
They can be a killer, yeah.
I don't know anywhere where any points in life where expectations work out.
Mm-hmm.
Except for, I actually had a thought in my head the other day. Have expectations for money you earn, not money that's given to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use money, have expectations for everything you earn, not everything that's given to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? Like, if you work for it, fucking have expectations that you're going to get it.
Yeah.
But if you don't work for it and those expectations hold you back.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. I think that's a lot of people's problems, that they expect to make it without putting in work.
And the fact of that expectation is such a climax, right? And then when you don't do what you're expecting yourself to do, you hit a low, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not good for your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And if you expect something like, I don't know, what would an example be?
I think it's better to have, for me, and I'm going to say like faith, but when I say faith, I don't mean in a religious way.
Yeah.
I have faith that when I move to, I have faith, first of all, that I'll move to Toronto and that I'll be able to find some sort of work that I want to do. I have no doubt in my mind that I will be able to, you know, have a job in the music industry and be happy. Mm-hmm. I have faith in myself that I can do that. I'm not.
Are you saying fate or faith?
Faith, whatever. I'm French. There's no TH in the French language.
And it's so. Is there a difference between faith and expectations?
I think so.
What's the difference?
Because expectations, I feel like expectations is more of a end goal.
So is expectations the point on the top of the hill, and faith is with you going up the hill?
That's probably a good way to put it, actually.
That analogy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The expectations are the top. It's not helping you at all. It's just there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you expect to get to. And
mm-hmm.
faith is with you the whole.
Mm-hmm. I guess
it's not I can get there, but it's like, I will get there.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's a really good way to look at it, actually.
I just saw it. When you were talking about it, I saw the picture.
No, as soon as you said that, I see that in my mind, too.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we talked about faith before. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
It's important that this thing we got, the human race, and it's played its part. And I think it still needs to play its part. And faith is spiritual, and we don't have a lot of spirituality, especially in our culture. I think there's pockets of it.
I think it's getting more popular, though. Yeah, I think spirituality without religion is coming up.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But I think it's going down more than it's going up.
In terms of people who do it, or the quality, or what?
Just having some sort of spirituality, or understanding that.
Oh, this chair is so uncomfortable.
Yeah, do you want to switch out? I need to take a pee soon.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll switch.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think that we're gonna have a religious-less world eventually. If we don't kill ourselves. So. If we don't kill ourselves.
Yeah. You
wanna know what's the easiest way to make $1 million?
What?
Start a religion.
Oh shit. No, you're right though.
Okay, we're taking a break. I'm taking a piss.
What did you do?
I fucked up.
Did you?
It was so loud through the mic. That was so fucking weird. You can hear the bus going by through the mic.
It's so weird.
It is weird. Yeah, I was sick. I told Nathan shut up. You gotta listen to that. I don't know. Sounded nice though.
Sample that.
Sample that.
Do you think you're gonna keep in touch with people?
All right, we're back. Am I gonna keep in touch with people? Definitely. Like we're here right now.
Yeah.
Look at this. So yeah, even if it's only one.
Okay.
I don't know. I love Bob.
Yeah.
And I love Emily, and I love Ken. I mean, I'm not gonna force anything. But if I feel like it needs to happen, it'll happen. I'm not usually the one to reach out, though.
Yeah.
I'm just super busy, and like I don't want to just hang out. That's my issue. I feel like that's half an issue and half not an issue.
Well, it kind of is though.
It is though, especially
because,
this time.
Like right now, my buddy, like my best friend, I've known this guy for 10 years. Lives in Ingleside, and we're basically hanging out every day, right? And it's great, but at the same time, it's like I need to focus on moving forward. You know, I want to keep mixing. Like I want to.
So wait, what are you saying is an issue?
It's just
what's an issue? Not hanging out enough or hanging out too much?
Hanging out too much, because hanging out and not doing anything. You know what I mean?
I don't like it, but like I think there's extremism on both sides.
Yes.
And I feel like you need to find yourself in a balance.
Yeah, I agree with you. But right now it feels like too much.
I feel you. I think
I haven't
a lot
been
of people,
alone since I've come back.
Oh, true. You've just been spending time. Yeah. See, like I kind of crave having those times where I'm alone.
Yeah, I really need to be alone, because that's how you recharge your battery. That's how I recharge my battery.
Yeah, there's differences.
Yeah.
Between introvert and extrovert. That's definitely how I recharge my battery too. But there's got to be a balance too. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Work hard. No, it's like you got to relax. You got to make time for other parts of your life.
Yep.
That will give you joy.
Yes.
And it doesn't always. And that's being anxious about the future too, right? Like workaholics are a real thing.
I definitely could be one for sure.
Same, but I don't. I do want to be one, because I really feel that's where I find my peace. Like when I'm focused on doing a task, when I'm focused on completing something, that's like where I just shut off and just do. Like I don't think.
No, I understand. I'm like that too. Like when I'm mixing, I just sit down and just focus on one thing for hours at a time. Yeah.
And that's where I feel I get anxious when I'm not doing anything, but I think that might be an issue too. I need to relax a little bit. That's why I really want to practice meditation.
Doing nothing is still doing something, right?
To a certain extent.
Well, if you're consciously, like meditation, like someone would look at you and go like, "What's this guy? He's doing nothing. He's just sitting there."
Okay, yeah.
But you are doing something. You're learning how to relax.
See, when you said doing nothing, I just like pictured a fucking dude sitting there playing video games, eating Cheetos for like 24 hours a day, 8 times a week.
Well, that's
8 days a week.
Balance, right?
Yeah.
That's too much. Too much of doing nothing.
Yeah. I feel you.
I think it's bad when people can't stop doing something. Like,
what do you mean bad?
Like, my is someone who needs to do something all the time. She just can't sit down and she can't just sit outside and just do this and do nothing. You know, she's got to find something to clean. She's got to go to work. She's got to read a book. She's got to, she's got to be doing something all the time. And I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's too healthy.
I feel like I suffer from that.
I think you do too.
Yeah. I definitely think and there needs to be a point of peace and just
being still.
Okay, being okay with where you are right then.
Yeah.
So, and practicing stillness is very, especially in the land of the ADHD we live right now.
Yeah.
It's like you need to just stop,
just put your phone down, and look at a tree for a little bit.
Put your for at least 30 minutes. No, I try to practice meditation, but it's so hard. Have you ever tried to meditate?
Yeah.
Do you like consistently try to do it?
No. I tried to do it when I was in Australia because a buddy of mine...
You're like, fuck this God thing? I don't like Jesus that much.
No. It was a buddy of mine practiced meditation because he did martial arts.
Yeah.
Right?
I wanted to do martial arts really bad too.
I used to.
Did you?
Yeah. Not for long. Just when I was like 10, I did karate for a year.
Karate. I feel like that teaches you a lot of discipline throughout your life. Sorry, go on.
And I tried meditating. And, I liked meditating. But for me,
what do you mean you liked it?
I liked sitting like this and concentrating on not thinking.
For people who can't see this, he is sitting like
like the typical meditation pose.
Yeah, you look like Buddha over here.
I don't have a problem going outside and sitting for half an hour not doing anything. I've always been like that. I don't need to do something all the time.
See, I definitely...
so for me, meditation was kind of like redundant.
I definitely... Yo, dude. Sorry. I'm doing a podcast right now with my buddy. What are you saying? Can we in like an hour? Okay, cool. I appreciate that, bro. Peace. Sorry, what were you saying?
I said that for me, meditation is redundant.
Redundant. Why redundant? Because you already do it?
Sort of.
See, I feel like I couldn't just sit down and do nothing for half an hour.
Why?
Because I get anxious.
But why do you get anxious?
Because my mind's running at a mile a minute.
No, I understand that. I feel that too. But, like, do you think that anxiousness comes from being afraid that if you're not doing something to progress your life every second, that you're wasting your time?
Yeah.
Yeah? Because I feel that too. But it's also like, I understand that, I want to always be doing something to progress myself, either as, as a person to grow or like to get farther in what I want to do or whatever. But that's not always possible. And so sometimes just realizing that, I'm going to take a month living at home to just relax. And then I'm going to focus for the next few years on doing that.
Yeah, I see.
But always taking time to do nothing. And to be like, it's okay to just take this part of my life and just not worry about anything.
See, I don't think I could do that right now. Mm-hmm. It'd be so hard for me.
Mm-hmm. The look on your face is like, oh shit, man, I could never do that.
Yeah, no, I just couldn't. I don't. And it does cause me a lot of stress. I'm not saying my life is fucking terrible. I live in this anxious-filled fucking moment at 24/7. Of course, I have a beautiful life, and I fucking appreciate everything. But I do feel like a lot of my angst does come from thinking about the future too much. Mm-hmm. And that's something I can change. Yeah. And I feel like it'll help me in the long run be in the moment. Yeah. Because it goes back to what we were talking about before, and like reassessing your dreams, and like taking a second to look around and look for different paths. Because if you're thinking about the future and where you want to be, you're not going to be able to see any of these other paths. That's why living in the present is so much more important. It doesn't just cause depression and anxiety, but it helps you see the road. Yeah. It's like, it's a different, and that's why, like, I hate hearing people our age like say, "Oh, I can't wait till I retire." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's fucked. It's like you're thinking about the future, and it's just a different. You're not even. It's about enjoying the journey. It's like what we've been talking about. We talked about it before. It's like taking that step. It's about the journey. It's not about the future. About because that'll come. Yeah. I mean, and like this month, or after finishing school, moving back with my parents, I keep having the thought in my head, like, I can't wait
to get out and go to Toronto. I can't wait to start my life there. And it's starting to feel antsy and kind of like I just want to go. And for a few days I was kind of like lost sight of just enjoying being back home with my friends and family and my dog, and being in Ingleside, which has been my home for 10 years, because I was like, I just want to go. I just want to get out of here and go back. But it's like, hang on. Why am I causing this sort of anxiety for myself by thinking about this too much? Like, just a waste of energy.
Yeah. Do you think it's like a natural human instinct to be excited and like whatever chemicals get released in your brain from change? Like, you know what I mean? Was it you actually just like actually missing what you had back at home, or was it just the fact of change was going to happen?
What do you mean?
Because I always feel whenever I move, whenever something changes in my life, I feel like I really stop and slow down. And then, and, it picks that back up and it gets into the
groove.
Yeah, consistency of living everyday life. But there's like, whenever there's a change, it causes that sort of ecstasy moment. You know what I mean? Like, ecstasy? This is different. Okay. This is like wide-eyed.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that's what your experience was at home? And then you realize, like, okay, that was just the bump from moving. That was just a bump that I got, I don't know, from being there. And then it just kind of slowly dissipates.
I think you're right about that. That, starting MIA, it's like, well, I'm getting ready to go on this year-long journey, meet all these people, move to this new place, and experience all that sort of stuff. And like for the first month or two, like, oh, this is cool. But then you get used to going to classes, doing homework, you get familiar with the people around you, and that initial rush goes away. And then you're just left with a new status quo. You know what I mean? Why are you doing that?
Because I can't sit away from my...
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, I feel you. And that's another reason why I'd hate the job I'm working at. Like, you know what I mean? That status quo would get old real fast.
Yeah.
They say the average person changes their career like 7 to 12 times throughout their life.
Mm-hmm. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true, but before they weren't careers, it's just what you had to do. What do you think about happiness?
Okay. Very broad question.
What do you think about happiness?
I think that's what you should strive for. Because if you're not happy, then why are you living?
Why do we need to strive for happiness? Like, why don't we instinctually have it?
Because human beings have desires, right? And if we desire something so I want to be able to what?
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend. No,
Jeopardy for 400.
I have a desire to have a living or make a living, have a career in the music industry. And if I don't get that, there is the disappointment, there's like you feel upset. But I think it's important to separate desires from happiness.
So, what about people, let's say 2,000 years ago,
mm-hmm.
in tribes? Was there happiness?
Probably.
Was it like was it consciously thought about within their brain, do you think?
I don't know. Do you mean like they
just
strived for happiness consciously, or?
Yeah. See, because
probably.
You think so?
I think everybody wants to be happy.
But was that even a thing you were conscious about? Were you just doing what you had to do to survive? When did happiness come in? So I was listening to this podcast, and they were like, before this whole self-help book stage of the world, 1960s, 1950s, before it all started, there wasn't really, happiness was not talked about. Happiness is not a theme in books written before that. You know what I mean? It's not a part of culture until now.
Yeah.
And it's...
Well, I think everybody wants to be happy, but that doesn't mean that everybody... So your question was, do you think people strive for happiness?
Yeah, do you think it's a... Why do you think people have to strive for happiness and don't actually just instinctually have it?
Well, right now, I am happy right now.
Yeah.
Because I graduated school with a great grade. I'm living at home. I don't really need to worry about anything right now. But someone working like 2 jobs to support themselves, maybe their career isn't going anywhere. Maybe they're just living day to day because they have to do that. I don't know if they're happy, but I'm pretty sure they would like to be happy. You know what I mean?
But do you think that's only because of a perspective thing? If you're saying, I've graduated school, I'm done, those are kind of all surface level things when it comes to Nathan Scarr's a being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So would that really dictate your happiness? Or do you think you could be possible without having any of those things?
Well, yeah.
And being happy? For
sure.
So do you think it's a change of it's a different perspective? The lady's like, I'm just saying the lady, like anyone who's working that shitty job and doesn't like it, is there a perspective that needs to be switched in order for them to be happy?
I think that I would be happy working a shitty job as long as I had people I cared about in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's because to me, happiness, like I just said, graduating school, all that kind of stuff, that is surface level things. If I hadn't graduated MIA, I would have been disappointed, but I wouldn't be like, oh, there goes my happiness.
Yeah.
There goes my life.
An emotional piece of you. It might have took some pride away with it, but if that can grow back.
Yeah. But no, if someone can be working like 2 jobs, have dead end jobs, have nothing going for them, but it all depends on what they find happiness in. If someone finds happiness in their work, and they're not working a job that they like, then I like what they value, what they place value in for their own happiness isn't giving it to them, if you know what I'm trying to say. Because okay. So, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy?
Yeah.
See, I don't know if I figured it out.
Okay. Well, oh, fuck.
I'm not saying I'm unhappy, but I'm not sure if I've found what triggers that happiness yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
I know like love does. I know like having relationships and like that and like being excited just for anything. And having that excited feeling is like happiness, right? Like looking forward to the future or the moment is happiness.
Okay. So let's say that you didn't have anyone you cared about or anyone cared about you. Okay. You said that you find happiness in love kind of stuff.
Yeah. The kind of stuff. That
what that sappy bullshit. Fucking pussy.
You got me.
Okay, so let's say that you didn't have a lot of love in your life.
Yeah.
would you try to find love because you know that gives you happiness, or would you change your perspective to find other things that gives you happiness?
It'd be a trial and error. It'd be hard not to look for love because I think we all do.
Okay, but forget about the love part. Just think of something that gives you happiness.
Yeah.
If you didn't have it, would you look for happiness in another place or try to get it where you know you could get it?
Well, see, this is how do you know what really brings you happiness? There's a difference between like lust and love, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what if you're with this girl that you really, really think brings you happiness because you get that feeling, but it's the superficial feeling. We have that surface level shit. So it's like, how do we know that is not giving us happiness? How you're asking me what gives, how does someone know what gives them happiness or joy? Is the question you need to answer before I can answer that shit.
I guess what you said earlier is probably right, then trial and error.
Yeah, that's what would have to happen. But how do you know that feeling? You know what I mean? How do you know the difference between lust and love? And like, fucking, what's another analogy I could use? Like, I don't know. Like knowing something's real love and not just feeding your ego.
Okay. Well,
how do you make that distinction?
Do you think that I think that feeding your ego only helps you, right?
Yeah.
But if you actually are in love with someone, then it helps both of you, right? It brings both of you happiness. It's not about you. It's not about just you, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
So do you think that true happiness is only about you?
Yeah, no, this is a great point. Because no, I definitely don't. And like, remember what we were talking about. I think it was the first podcast with me and you and Derek and John. And
God bless him.
God bless him. But you're saying, does happiness only involve you? Remember we were talking about, we said, you know, it was either you or I gave an example that said, the days you're feeling like shit is because you're focusing on yourself. You know what I mean? You have those are those bad days when you're thinking too much about yourself.
Yeah.
Brings me back. Did you ever see the Simpsons movie?
No.
Where you've never seen the Simpsons movie? Oh my fucking god, you won't get it. But if anyone's ever seen the Simpsons movie, and there's this scene, there's this big titty native lady, and she fucking gives Homer this tea in this fucking teepee, and he goes into this epiphany because Springfield got covered by a dome.
Okay. Actually, maybe I did see this movie.
Oh, you definitely have.
I remember.
Yeah, it gets covered by a dome, and then
I might have seen it a long time ago.
And then he's living in Alaska, and he says, "Fuck them."
Oh, I did see this movie.
He's living in Alaska, and he's saying, "Fuck them." And then in the epiphany, he's getting ripped apart by all these evil trees, and he's like, he comes to this epiphany that this native lady put him through, and he's like, without others, who am I without others? I am no one without them. And I think that's like a bit, like, I always refer to that scene in my real life. Like, that's such a truth-telling statement right there.
Yeah. Who said it? Fuck. Do you know the poem "For Whom the Bell Tolls"?
I know the J. Cole song. I see the rain falling down.
Who wrote that? I don't remember. I don't remember who wrote it, but it's a poem about humanity. And basically the poem, like, there's a sentence that says that no man is an island disconnected from everyone else, right? Basically the gist of the poem is that the more people there are, the better we become, because we help each other improve and grow. don't remember a lot about the poem. That was a long time ago, but I believe that.
Yeah, no, I totally do, and that's a constant battle in my life. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a good reminder to sit here and have a conversation with you about it, because it's such a good reminder, especially I'm sure, you get lost in yourself, and you need to refocus, and you'd be like, I need to appreciate the people in my life, and they are who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The people in your life are who you are. You are a sum of the 5 closest people in your life. Mm-hmm. Is something I heard somewhere. It's like, without them, you're nothing. But it's a very good reminder, because I always think I do have like this forward thinking, and not always in a good way. Like, too focused on the future and not understanding that I need to sit here and like enjoy hanging out. You know what I mean? We talked about it before. There's got to be a balance. I got to enjoy hanging out, because these people are really what matter. That's another. Yeah. There's another, just a sort of proof that, like, just being still for a second, being present, is about and appreciating other people around you. Mm-hmm. So when you're in that tunnel, you're alone. Yeah. There's no one there. But when you're fucking walking through a field, there's motherfuckers there. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Goes back to that. Yeah.
You never gave me that 4 Agreements book, eh?
Oh, I'll give it to you right now.
Oh, then. Do you have it?
Bro, yeah.
Shit, no, wait, dude.
I'll give it to you after this.
Okay, but I don't know if I could give it back.
Well, that's fine. You can mail it to me eventually.
True.
You still got that. It's not all. Imagine one day you're just going to be able to email it to me. Yeah. You'll have your scanner that teleports the items.
Well, I mean, I'll probably still be here for a while. So,
where?
Ingleside.
True. Are we going to do another one?
For sure, man.
Yeah, fuck.
For shizzle, man.
Dude.
So,
yeah. Have your feelings changed on school since we left? Since you're at home?
I think not really. Like, I went to get skills and knowledge to do what I wanted to do, and it's more like the way I viewed myself changed. You know what I mean? Not really the school.
Yeah. So was that in the past 4 weeks, or was that throughout the year?
That was throughout the year. I don't think I've had any revelations in the last 4 weeks.
Did you feel like you needed the break, though?
Yeah. It was really dragging on towards the end.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It felt like a struggle.
It was a race. It was a marathon.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no breaks there.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
I don't know. I really slacked the last
Did you fail?
One class. Entertainment contracts.
Yeah. Shit, dude.
Online class. Fuck me. I'm not going to take it again.
No, you shouldn't.
I hope my mom's not listening to this. She'll know the truth.
Do you know if your family has listened to the podcast yet?
My mom said she listened to 10 minutes of the Summoning Satan.
Oh.
She's like, I was laughing so hard at all of your laughs. It was actually a really good moment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's great.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I have. I've listened to the first 3.
That beginning when we're all laughing at that stupid fucking X-Life story.
And then I love that intro when John...
Did you hear what he said, though?
What? Oh, shit, I don't remember.
Now summoning Satan.
Oh, yeah.
Now to summon Satan. That was like the beginning of the intro before when I was recording, because I always start recording before we actually get going.
Yeah.
And he just said that randomly. We ended up talking about religion for the whole podcast. So I was like, this fits so good. Now to summon Satan. Mm-hmm. God bless him. I miss him.
Oh, me too.
Is he going to visit here before it's over?
I don't know. I think he's staying there.
Yeah. How many friends do you still have from high school at fucking Ingleside?
Well, I never went to high school. I was homeschooled, remember?
True, trippy.
Uh-huh. My brother's still there.
True, trippy. That's so funny. Is your brother like you?
No.
Totally different?
Yeah. Me, my sister, and my brother are pretty different.
Do you feel like you guys getting closer as you get older, though?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I feel like with my brother, too.
Yeah, because we grow up.
Yeah, we were never similar.
For me, I used to be super insecure growing up. And that manifested in an ego that was always at odds with my brother's ego. So it was very hard for us to communicate.
True, just a lack of vulnerability with each other.
Yeah. But I think I'm completely like vulnerable now.
Yeah.
And he's starting to get there.
Completely vulnerable.
Oh. Okay, I'm a lot more vulnerable than I used to
be. Still, everybody's got that kind of.
Yeah.
I think you'll probably hurt yourself if you're totally vulnerable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. I know when to be vulnerable. I know who to be vulnerable with. There's no, like, I'm not going to just spout my life story to some random dude on the street, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, I forgot what I was going to say.
Classic.
Yeah. How many times has someone said this on this fucking... The history of the can opener.
It's gonna be in the History Channel one day.
Yeah. By the way, how'd you like the art?
I really appreciate it. I need to send your buddy an email back.
Yeah?
Because I haven't paid him yet.
Jesus. Dude.
It's not okay.
You gotta pay him.
Of course I am. I'm not gonna back out on him, but I haven't sent him an email. Caught him a piece of shit for it. Mm-hmm. But I hope he gets it.
Mm-hmm. I really like the image though. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, really like it too. Nice.
I really, really like it too. But you know what? I'm open for change at all time.
By the way,
yeah,
I'm going to take a picture right now.
I'm going to keep doing it. Yeah, good call.
Because you need to have some sort of photos going on.
You going to post on my Instagram?
I'll post it on my Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
I'll send you the photos though.
Oh, yeah.
Did you start an Instagram?
I think I have one.
For the can opener?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I haven't put anything on it. Mm-hmm. It's not called the can opener either.
Okay.
It's called the fucking... I don't even know.
Call it the fucking can opener.
I think it's your cans opened.
Interesting.
I don't know. The can opener network didn't fit. Uh-huh. Someone already took can opener, obviously, because that's like, why wouldn't you have a fucking Instagram called the can opener?
I don't know, man. Just post photos of you opening cans.
It's a sick ass Twitter handle.
Dude, yeah. Just start a marketing campaign with you opening cans, but then put what's in the can. What's in the can? Tune in to find out.
Would you buy a t-shirt?
Dude, I was going to tell you, like, you should have some merch.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna make a white t-shirt with that logo, mm-hmm. like on the crest, and a black t-shirt with the logo on the crest. That's it. No words, no nothing. Just see like the little dude with the can opener. I think it'd be pretty dope. Mm-hmm. Then somebody asks you like, "Well, what is that?" I'd ask you if you had that on your shirt. I'd be like, "What the hell is that?" You'd be like,
I would totally buy some merch.
Can or fuck yeah, dude.
But you give it to me for free, right?
No. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, you've been a part of it. Mm-hmm. I'd have to. I'd give you some to sell to your friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. So where do we go from here?
You know what? I don't really know.
Yeah.
Just
anything in the news you see lately? You hear about that hurricane in Texas?
Yeah, what do you think about it?
Horrible.
See the one coming up?
Yeah, Hurricane Irma. Do you know what I saw?
Category 5, dude.
Do you know what I saw? What? Right? Okay. It's on the front page of the news that I checked today, like on the internet.
Yeah.
It said Hurricane Irma. Category 5 hurricane. Right next to it, Trump's mansion in the way of the hurricane. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's so funny,
dude. I don't care. Like, how many people are gonna die and you're telling me about Trump's fucking mansion?
Literally.
What the fuck is wrong with the news, man?
Have you ever seen The Inconvenient Truth?
No, but I know about it.
Okay.
There's a sequel coming up.
No, I think it's already out.
Oh, yeah?
But it's shit. No one cares about the sequel. Like, let's be serious. The first one, it's an original. But this fucking movie. You haven't seen it?
I have not seen it, but it's about global warming.
Okay, so I know
Al Gore.
It's about global warming and it's some bullshit. It is like 90% bullshit. I'm not saying that. I put that way, way not right.
Global warming isn't real.
Climate change is definitely a real thing. There's no denying that. But he did not use real facts in that film.
He did not?
No. It was like 90% false.
Wow.
90% not back. And but he stated some crazy date, like Miami will be underwater come 20 something. I don't really remember the day he put, but bro, look at Texas is underwater. Miami's about to be underwater. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Shit's getting crazy.
Yeah. Do you think anyone will care though?
What do you mean anyone will care? Of course people will care.
Yeah.
But people don't care about India right now. There's over 1,000 people have been killed in monsoon season.
Yeah.
And over 1 million people who have been displaced.
There's also a part of, I think it was India, that will become uninhabitable in the near future due to the rising temperatures of the earth.
Yeah. What do you think about people? What's your position on climate change?
Well, I think...
Do you think it's totally man-made, or do you think that it's a part of the cycle the Earth goes through?
I don't think it's totally man-made because the Earth had an ice age and it warmed up and all this kind of stuff. But I do, ice ages. Yeah, but I do think that we're not helping.
Yeah,
100%.
Is there a difference between global warming and pollution? Because isn't pollution the real thing we should be worried about? Not having clean water to drink and not having good air to breathe?
You're right about that for sure. I mean,
Arnold Schwarzenegger, I was listening to a podcast with Arnold Schwarzenegger and he said that exact thing. He's like, you know what, people, we are naturally not trained to think that far ahead.
Yeah.
Like, we can't see the future. We're not going to believe that in 120 years we're all going to be underwater because of our fucking cars. Like, you know what I mean? Not driving to work, going back and forth. But we are able to see what's happening right now. And there's over 7 million people a year that die from pollution.
Jesus Christ.
7 million people a year die from pollution.
In terms of like water being polluted,
air. In terms of water, air, any whatever,
I heard
cancer, like from radioactive. Like,
I think I saw this in China that they're selling cans of fresh air in China.
Yeah, and they're getting them from Alberta.
Yeah.
People are literally jarring up Alberta air and shipping it over from Monday.
Which is crazy. So I do think pollution needs to be dealt with as soon as possible.
There was like buildings in China. I think it was like 6 months ago or something. I saw some CNN live stream, and there's buildings in China where it was literally unsafe to breathe in it,
Jesus
even
Christ.
when the air conditioner is going, because there's so much pollution outside.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. I can't even imagine.
I can't imagine why people wouldn't do something about it. You know what I mean?
I think people don't do something about it because of capitalism.
Yeah. But
sound terrible. That was a strong statement, but
I don't know, man. It's like, at what point do you look outside and realize I can't breathe this air and go, maybe we need to change because I can't breathe this air?
I don't think people who are in control of that are affected by that. Is my thing.
So do you think that to be so do you think that people who people who are heads of these companies that pollute water and pollute air, do you think that they're so devoid of conscience that they don't care?
I don't know if they're totally devoid of conscience. I think there's got to be something. There's got to be something of that sort. Mm-hmm. But it's also, we're fucking primates.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If if I'm standing here in this nice environment and there's someone over on the other side that has to live shitty because of my nice, and you're not going to look beyond the wall, right? Like, I don't think it's all people's fault. But now we're getting to a point where we have the internet.
Yeah.
And where we have as much information on anything as you could ever want. And now it's just a case of arrogance over ignorance, I think.
Uh-huh.
Because we understand the effects.
I think for some people it's arrogance over ignorance. But I do think there's tons of ignorance, though. I mean, people believe that the world is flat, dude. For fuck's sake.
But do you think even the people who are successful doing oil and coal and who work hard and obviously aren't dumb because they've been able to manipulate their way through this game?
No, I think they're totally aware of what they're doing.
Yeah, so that's where my issue comes in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people who, like Elon Musk, who are making like electric cars and solar powered roofs, are taking business away from, let's say, the Koch brothers, who donated $900 million to the Republican Party for Donald Trump this year, but are also oil tycoons.
Uh-huh.
So it's like there's I feel like every single point in my life, if you follow the money, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
It is.
What do you think about money? Is this a system we should use?
Oh, man. If people, if people actually had real, so the people who, like we just talked about,
yeah,
the oil tycoons, whatever, they 100% know what they're doing and the way that they're affecting the environment and polluting and hurting people's lives. If they cared, they could change. They could make things better. I'm sure they could do that. So I feel like the system that we have would work if people actually felt like if people were decent, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you believe there has to be a moral code? There's got to be some sort of...
I believe that any system we could come up with would fail if the people who managed to get to the top of the system didn't live by moral codes or whatever.
Are we going to...
So I think it's the people, not the system.
Are we going to have to... Do you think that's nature?
Maybe. But do you think
as a wild animal that you protect yourself and make sure that you and your family move on and you aren't really...
Mm-hmm.
Is that nature? Are we going to have to fight nature in order to get to the next battle? Are we going to have to fight this natural mindset of
me, myself?
Yeah, survive. Like,
yeah.
This is how to survive. You.
I think that's one element of nature. But I do think that human beings are, like, naturally, we want to be around other people. We want to live by each other's happiness.
Was that for survival too, though? Is that a new kind of thing? Is that just...
Well, if we don't change, we won't survive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we make the earth uninhabitable, what are we going to do? So,
yeah.
I think the only way to survive... Oh, shit. Well, I don't know, man. They're taking money away from NASA.
Fuck them. Elon. We don't need NASA when we got the free market and Elon Musk with SpaceX creating Airbuses that fit like thousands of people at a time going to Mars.
True.
Bro, we're going to be a multiplanetary species.
True. No, I believe that.
100%. I think it's like believing in aliens or not. Unless we got hit by some catastrophic meteor, we're going to get there.
Do you think we'll do it when we're still alive?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. there'll definitely be people living on Mars in 60 years.
I'd like to see that.
It'd be crazy. It's gonna be crazy looking back. Think about how much has changed in our grandparents' lives.
Yeah.
I think of
even my parents' lives. When my parents were born in the 60s, internet didn't exist.
Exactly.
Cell phones didn't exist.
My grandma lived through World War II.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like a different world entirely. That was only that long ago.
Yeah.
That generation is still alive. That's a huge... I can't even imagine. That's a different...
It's a different world.
It's a different world. And think about where we are now and them trying to understand what's going on now.
I've been watching World War II in color documentary.
Yeah.
And it's just seeing the way that people lived and the mindsets of people back then. It's like like you said, there's people alive who lived through that. And my mindset and my life experience is so different to what someone who grew up in fucking even like 1940s Canada.
Oh my God, it'd be unbelievably
crazy.
Different, right?
Yeah.
You can't even put yourself in that moment because it's like you never even experienced it. Mm-hmm. Wearing that tucked in shirt with the brown leather belt.
Oh yeah. With the generational divide is real, man.
It's just unbelievable how much we changed. And do you think we're changing at exponential rate? Like, do you think we'll change even faster than we've changed in the past 6 years?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think life's going to get better.
I think it's just going to go crazy. Like, it's going to be sci-fi shit all over the place. Have you heard of this?
Bro, it already is sci-fi shit if you think about it.
Have you heard of the surgery that they're going to perform where they're trying to transplant a head?
Have they done it yet?
I'm not sure if it's happened yet.
I saw that, though.
But it's happening.
It's happening. They're trying it.
They're going to do it. I don't know what's going to happen.
They're trying it. God bless them that they're trying it.
Isn't that crazy?
Unbelievable.
You can just transplant someone onto another body? Jesus Christ. Body snatchers up in here.
That's so crazy. Mm-hmm. What is it going to be, though?
What do you mean?
Whose body, whose soul?
I don't know.
Whose conscious is it going to be?
I don't know.
Is there any,
I don't even know if
any
it's
part
work.
of yourself within your DNA in your body?
Probably. So that's going to be really weird.
So, yeah,
it's going to be so strange.
It's going to be interesting to see.
I mean, people have done transplants, though, right?
Yeah, you know? But not brain. That's your central nervous system.
Yeah. If they can get it to work.
Where do you think the spirit lives in? Is it in your consciousness?
Oh, I'm not sure, man.
Yeah, me neither. See, this is why that will be interesting, because maybe your spirit lives within your actual molecules, not just a certain space in your brain, but like within your DNA.
Yeah.
It'd be imagine the first thing comes out like a mix.
Yeah. It's so strange. I can't even.
Dude's arms are gonna walk with it. He's not gonna be able to control. What happens when the head can't control the body and he's alive? Are you motherfuckers gonna have to kill him?
Who am I talking to? I don't know.
You can't have that. They're gonna have to
Why did you do this?
That's some fucked human centipede shit.
This is Frankenstein in real life.
That is the worst case scenario.
Kill me.
We're gonna be what's that? iRobot.
Oh yeah. Are you afraid of technology taking over?
You know, I'm afraid of technology taking over only because Elon Musk is afraid of technology taking over. I don't know. I think I'm not that smart to really like.
Neil deGrasse Tyson said he wasn't afraid.
He wasn't?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably not in his lifetime.
True.
And I have this conversation a lot with a buddy at work, and he's like, you know, AIs have primary functions. Mm-hmm. So AIs can go very seamlessly or they can go bad. He's like, if an AI's primary function was to go out and get some fucking McDonald's for you, and there's a group of people blocking him, he'd kill a person to get to his primary function. So that's where it can go bad. But if it goes...
Don't you think we could develop something more complex than that?
I don't know if we can.
Okay.
And once it does become more complicated than that, then that's when we lose control. That's when it's over. Did you hear about... Do you know what the board game Go is?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you hear about the AI who beat the Go player? So that same AI... No, I think it was a Google AI. A Google AI, they created 2 of them. This was last year, and they started communicating with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, you said that before.
Yeah, and they had to shut it off. There was no way they were letting that because they couldn't understand, but they clearly noticed they were communicating.
Yeah. Did you hear about that AI that joked about putting humans in a zoo?
No.
You didn't hear about that?
No.
So there was I think there was a group of scientists that created an AI, and they gave it a sense of humor. No, I think they tried to recreate a person's personality, and it recreated a sense of humor. And they were talking, and they made a joke, and he was like, "Don't worry, I'll keep you." He was like, "Do you think the robots will take over?" And he's like, "Don't worry, we'll keep you in human zoos."
That's fucked. Yeah, there's a couple AI,
but they replicated a sense of humor in a robot.
That's crazy. Have you seen the video of the girl, like the lifelike AI robot, and the reporter who's reporting asked like,
maybe,
"You're not gonna kill us, are you?" And you're like, I'm so butchering this.
We don't do any research before this podcast.
I saw it a long time ago. But go YouTube, female AI tells reporter she's gonna kill all of human race.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that before.
It was so creepy, so cringy. It looked like a fucking movie. And did you hear about I don't know what it was, the Microsoft AI that was supposed to be a representation of a 12 or a 16-year-old girl?
No, I didn't hear about that.
You were able to message this AI that on Twitter, an AI Twitter bot, and she would reflect what was messaged to her, right, and what was asked. And there was a point. There are some of the fucking craziest tweets. So this was a Microsoft bot that they were just testing, and it was in the control of the internet. And once the internet gets control of everything, everything goes so wrong.
Why would you do that?
And so this was supposed to be, I forget her. So Zoe. No, it was Tay. That was the girl's name.
Tay. So wait, did they base it on a person, or did they just make a 16-year-old person?
I don't know how they programmed it, but that's what it was supposed to.
Okay.
And people start asking it shit. So people would tweet at it, and these are some shit that I don't even want to repeat on this podcast. It's like she retweets at someone. Look at this. Retweets at Bright Onus 33. Hitler was right. I hate the Jews. Like, no, this was a Microsoft bot. This was a Microsoft bot that they created and just started tweeting this because people were just making it racist and a fucking sexual predator.
Jesus Christ.
Jews did 9/11. Gas the blanks. Race war now. Hashtag KKK is what this bot tweeted.
Oh my God.
So that's how AIs can go wrong.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think I've said this before, and Joe Rogan opened this idea to me that, you know, we are the caterpillar to the
butterfly. You said that before.
Technology. Yeah.
So why are you scared then?
I'm not really that scared. Okay. I'm not scared. I'm not thinking that far ahead. And I feel like evolution is evolution. That's just that's just evolving. I don't know if I feel like the primate instinct is to want to prolong my own life. But I mean, and then it just goes back to like what really is the purpose of everything.
What do you think?
That was fucked.
You know, they're making these they're starting to make really lifelike sex dolls.
Yeah.
Technology, like robotic sex dolls.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Do you think that people are going to start living side by side with robots? And like, have you seen the movie Her?
No.
It's about this dude who falls in love with a robot, basically. Do you think that stuff's going to happen?
I think it's probably bound to happen. I feel like we're going to get satisfaction from other things other than...
Mm-hmm. But do you think an actual human relationship with a robot is possible?
I think it could be simulated.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely believe it could be simulated.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be... We've already simulated so much. I think it's just bound to happen
eventually. So it's going to be iRobot, like
it's gonna. I think you know, science is the language of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? There's binary.
Yeah.
There's binary code. We are all code. DNA is code. You're just a makeup of molecules, and that's just what code is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're learning how to code on computers and simulate things, but we are just code. So eventually we're going to be able to totally replicate the human code onto a computer. Eventually. I don't know fucking how that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a crazy day, and then that will be the end of us.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Do you think that technology is going to kill us, or?
No, we're just going to... It's just going to be an evolution.
Yeah. So do you think that humans will become extinct then? And there's just going to be technology left?
Well, I think they'll probably just be as conscious as we are and have as... It'll just be another form of us.
Okay.
Yeah. Or something greater.
Okay,
I don't know.
Do you think that human beings are going to stop?
I think
at some point
I think we're all
line,
going to become one sexuality. I don't think there's going to be a male or a female eventually. Once we start losing that connection, once we really start losing that connection, that was really important for mating and reproducing. That's going to be irrelevant to a certain extent, because you don't need to do that. We're going to have test tube babies all the time. We're going to have... Why would you put a woman through pregnancy?
Mm-hmm.
That's like... That'll be cruel in the future, right? Like, you could have a baby without having it in your stomach.
I mean, that would be an option.
Reduced deaths at birth. I think it'll be a popular option too.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, when we're accustomed to it.
I think that's going to cause a lot of problems, though.
Well, I mean, it'll be the end of us, I think. Because
at least to start off. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
There's always going to be people who fight change.
Yeah. We're just less necessary to mate with the other sex. It's becoming less and less necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, it's probably going to come obsolete to a certain extent. Because that's just a primate instinct. If there's anything, I don't know where we'll go. It'll be interesting living our life. It'll be interesting looking back at this podcast and being like 60 years deep into this fucking brain chip.
There's gonna
Black Mirror shit.
There's gonna be an invention in our lives that will change everything. Like the internet did, like electricity did, and then it'll be like, I can't remember a time without this invention, because it'll just become such a part of our lives.
What is it going to be?
I don't know. Maybe it'll be an actual robotic AI.
Will it? Within ourselves? I think it's definitely the way we're headed. Do you think what seems more similar? People living with robots and falling in love with robots, or people permanently wanting to live in an augmented reality?
That's a good question.
Because if you just go to bed and wake up and put on this ultra lifelike simulation that is your total design and creation,
I think that would be controlled by the government.
The government! Fuck the government! we want our guns!
Or do you think that we'll create robots that do everything for us, and then we can just live in this alternate reality?
I think we're already heading there, to the automation of the majority of our life.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely getting there. That's definitely going to happen. Maybe not in our lifetime. Everything will be automated, though.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually.
It's really weird to think about.
Yeah, I don't know. At that point, they wouldn't need to control us, though, right? They need to keep us distracted, which that could be it. You know,
You're talking about the government or the AI?
The government.
Okay.
Using an augmented reality or whoever's in charge. May the rich people. I feel like right now people with wealth have more power than people with government. But I don't know. The military is pretty fucked. Especially the U.S. military.
Yeah.
Are we gonna battle with North Korea?
I was just about to ask you.
Are we gonna spar?
I don't know.
Like, you wanna go, Kim Jong Un? Bro, do you know who Dennis Rodman is?
Yes.
Oh my god, I saw this interview with him today. He's like, bro, we just hang out, you know, we do fun stuff. We shoot basketball.
Well, his people die around us.
We sing karaoke. Like, can you imagine singing karaoke with Kim Jong-un?
Oh my god. I'd be like, don't feed me to your wolves, please.
Yeah, I'd be scared shitless. Like, I don't want to sing an off note.
No.
Or else they might murder me. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think that's the next step? Do you think that's
Probably.
the next war? Do you think war is inevitable?
I think war is inevitable if we make it inevitable. I don't think Kim Jong-un is the type of person to relent. Neither is Trump. But there's a lot more level. I think there's... I don't know.
Did you see that they successfully tested a hydrogen bomb 2 days ago? They felt a magnitude earthquake.
I don't think that America...
How do you not have a picture of that, though? I'm sure the U.S. has got to have drones flying all over that shit.
Yeah.
Like, every single piece of the map covered.
I think that America would strike first. You know what I mean?
You think so?
Yeah. I don't see why they would let them...
Is he delusional enough? Is Kim Jong-un delusional enough to risk everything to fight?
Probably.
Do you think he's that stupid? That
Well,
he's
the thing about North Korea is that nobody... Like, everything is a lie. Right? There's this whole narrative made by the government to make it seem like North Korea is the savior of the world, the best country in the world, whatever.
They win 80 gold medals at the Olympics.
You saw that too?
That's crazy.
They really, really believe that. For some reason.
Would you want to go there?
North Korea?
Yeah.
Not the way it is now.
You would want to just go and experience...
I think it would break my heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd just be an unbelievable experience to just go there and, like, see the show that's put on in front of your eyes for, like, however long you're there.
I mean, if I could
Everything choreographed.
If I could go and not, like, worry about being...
Abducted?
Killed or imprisoned, then maybe. Just to see how fucked... Just to see how different someone's life can be.
You see what that happened to the kid who came back from North Korea?
Which one?
The kid who got imprisoned for stealing a flag?
No, I did not hear about that.
So there was a U.S. kid who got imprisoned last year for stealing a North Korean flag, sentenced to 25 years of hard labor.
Uh-huh.
And he recently came back. They brought him back because he was in a coma.
Okay.
And the North Korea said it was a coma because of some sort of illness. And they found out that he had traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
And just for stealing a flag. And this kid was killed.
Uh-huh.
Just to really send a message, I think.
Uh-huh.
Think about how much balls that kid had to have to steal that flag from fucking North Korea.
Was that balls or was that stupidity?
Oh, both.
Yeah.
You had to have some... Your balls definitely had to be bigger than your brain, but rest in peace.
Yeah.
But it's crazy.
It's crazy, man. That's why it's scary, because you don't know just how crazy North Korea is.
Yeah.
And again, you don't know, like, again, I don't see why America would let North Korea attack them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'd probably shoot it down. But once anything even slightly remotely happened, doesn't even have to hit them. Well, think about what happened to Japan. They threw one bomb at one ship in Pearl Harbor, and they got, like, decimated.
Mm-hmm.
not only with the like 450,000 people killed instantly by both those bombs, they totally napalmed the shit out of all major cities. Go look at major Japanese cities during World War II. Napalm, it's just all burnt down. Just fire bombs. Fucked. So I think North Korea would be done as soon as even anything slightly happened.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's just crazy to think about living that life where you are that suppressed. Like, God bless the life we have. Think about how we live in the 1%.
Yep.
We are in the 1% of all humankind right now on this earth.
Yeah.
We could be living in the exact same moment, but like carrying water to and from our village.
Or stuck in a labor camp. Yeah.
Or being stuck in concentration camps in Russia for being gay.
Yeah.
Like, I know people who are gay who would be in those camps, like, right now.
Or they'd be just killed.
Or they'd just be killed.
Yeah.
They'd be harassed publicly.
It's crazy. Do you wonder how many times, like, do you think that people... How often do you think the average person thinks about that kind of scenario? They're like, yo, I'm born in this place over here, Canada. It's like, I have an iPhone. I get to sleep in a bed.
How often do they think about it? So that's a hard question to answer.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a really humbling thought, too.
Yeah, I don't know. The people I'm surrounded with in my life right now, they think that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to really gauge the other side. I was even at the podcast studio today with my boss, and he's like, he's talking about buying a house, and it's like, I just appreciate the fact that I'm in this position to buy a house. Yeah. I was like, that's exactly how life should be led.
I wonder that too, because I don't surround myself with people who aren't.
I really want to start asking people. That's a good question to ask people, though.
Yeah, it's like everyone, like you said, you are who you hang out with or whatever. Yeah. And I try to hang out or surround myself with people who make me better. So it's
help
like
you grow.
Yeah. I don't know that answer.
Yeah, no, me neither. It's a tough one. I hope a lot, because I think that would probably help you. Uh-huh. If you really take time to appreciate what's on your side of the fence. Yeah. I think it's not good to compare, right? You can't compare and contrast.
No, not comparing, but just taking perspective.
I guess you can't compare, but you can contrast. Yeah. You can see what's different.
Do you think if North Korea and the U.S. went to war, anybody else would get involved?
Of course.
Who?
China.
Haven't they, backed out of supporting North Korea?
So they say.
That's what they say, yeah.
Shit's fucked over there, too. They're on a different level. Yeah. That's going to be the new superpower. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it on the bus. I was like, I'm a minority here.
Yeah, because the average human being is Asian male.
Yeah. And I was like, you are the next rulers of this world. Asians will be the next white people. Uh-huh. Comparatively, like, you are the next. I don't even want to say it like that. Rulers of the world. What the fuck am I? All right, Evan. No, fucking. But like the next, you are
the next. Yeah, I know what you mean.
The majority. Yeah. You're the majority, and China is different. China has gained economic hold over the U.S. purely based on everything's made in China. Yeah. Everything on this table is probably made in China. Yeah.
I'm made in China.
Yeah. See, you happened because someone did not use something made in China. Yeah. Fuck. They got control of everything.
Uh-huh. That's crazy.
Yeah, it will be crazy. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I'm just curious about what life is going to be like. And I don't know. I really appreciate this podcast. I was talking to my buddy the other day, and I listened to the third podcast, and you said, you know, what do you really like? What do you think about having your podcast up? And I said something super not relevant. I don't remember what I said, but what I want to say is, like, I appreciate the support from my friends that I'm getting. Like, that's what I appreciate the most. Like, people who have listened to it have, like, come back to me, and just, like, the support and the ability to be open with what we're saying and listening.
Yeah.
And my buddy, I was talking to him about it, and it's like, he was talking about the first episode with John, and he's like, I don't. So your buddy never told you about that? Like, we never had that conversation with John before it happened, right? And he's like, he told me that he was, like, speechless. He didn't even really know how to put it into words when he heard John explain that story and that part of him. You know what I mean? Because he feels himself in the same wavelength, and that really hit me hard when he said that. I very much appreciate it. You know who you are if you're listening to it, and that's just what. And my buddy Mark, he's my biggest fan, and I fucking love him. Like, God bless him. Like,
that's really cool.
Yeah, he's such a good person, and that's what I really appreciate. Going back to that, that's been on my mind for and it just goes back to our overall theme, dude. That epiphany that Homer had in that teepee from the big titty lady.
Wow. Humanity.
Yeah, you are nothing without everybody else, and that's exactly.
It's a very different experience doing the podcast and then listening to it afterwards.
It is a different experience. It's
because
interesting.
then you get to reflect on what you said.
Yeah,
and you're like thinking about what I said the last podcast, and I'm like, wow, I was stupid. Fuck.
Was that group therapy?
That was the last podcast we did.
Okay, yeah. True. Yeah, it's different. And it's like...
But it's also... Because when we did that podcast and we were talking about that whole statue situation...
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it, really.
Yeah, and you were drunk.
Yeah. But then after that...
Disclaimer. Yeah, it's not like you can... Nothing's set in stone, right?
Yeah, but then afterwards...
Yeah.
Because of what happened in the podcast and I was reflecting on it, I looked up stuff. I found this Vice interview. Yeah. Vice is really good, like you've been saying.
Did you watch that one of the Charlottesville KKK? They followed around this white supremacist?
I saw one of them. And there was the scene of the interviewer asking this white supremacist couple, do you believe there should be another genocide or whatever? And then the wife's like, oh yeah, we should kill all the Jews. And then he's like, why? And then she points to her kids for them. And then her husband says, I love you, baby. And it's like, what the fuck? It's crazy.
There's this fucking good quote. Not every Trump supporter is a racist, but every racist is a Trump supporter. He literally didn't condemn the Jews as soon as it happened. The Jews. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
No, you're right. He didn't do it as soon as it happened.
He didn't condemn the white supremacists as soon as it happened.
He did eventually.
But that's just to support his base. It's a salesman.
Yeah, that's crazy. But my point,
my point
was that I did research because I reflected on what we talked about, and then I found this video of the mayor of New Orleans making a speech because New Orleans also removed a statue of General
Robert E. Lee.
Yeah, and his speech was about. His speech really it made me think about the way that I was talking about that situation, and I realized that
how were you talking about it?
Well, I was trying to be devil's advocate, and I was like, well, do you think that statues are always like in reverence of stuff or whatever?
Yeah.
And then the mayor was like, yes, they are. They're always to glorify something. And after the Civil War, they made those statues to put fear in the minds of the black people living there. Because they're like, we lost the war, but don't think much has changed.
You know what's even crazy about that too? I heard something that said the majority of these Civil War statues, these Confederate statues, were built with cheap bronze in the 1960s to revolt the civil rights movement.
Wow.
I heard that the majority of these are just cheap bronze, and they're just put up there as a response to the civil rights movement. Yeah, go look that up because it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I agree. And when he says, I was watching Bill Maher, and when Donald Trump says, then should every statue be taken down? Should George Washington? Should whatever? Whoever he said. And this guy came on, Bill Maher, he said, of course. No, we should not worship any human. And I was like, that's an interesting point. No human should be characterized. No human should be glorified. But like a moment should be glorified. Or a moment should have remembrance. I don't think a person should personify a moment in time. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So, like, what's that field in World War II in France?
Oh, fuck.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
That poem, Flanders Fields.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Flanders Fields is a monument that is quote unquote a statue, but it doesn't glorify a person. It glorifies a moment.
Yeah.
Or it
remembers.
Yeah, it references a moment, not a person. So it's like I don't see why there should be statues. I agree with that point. But especially not the ones that are built to. Why would you have that? That's just toxicity. It's just toxicity. There's nothing. But I mean, I understand. There's a point to it. It's like, is it not remembering, or is it just not glorifying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when are you erasing the past? When are you? Because do you see Quebec?
Yeah.
There's that
about
little
the Nazi.
Yeah, this little swastika on
that was recovered off of
a Nazi ship. Like, should that be taken away?
In that situation, like, I think it's all about context and understanding why it's there. I don't know what the context was for the statues. I don't know what the plaque said on them.
Yeah.
You know? I think they should be taken down.
Yeah, 100%. And go look at when they were made, because it's crazy. Yeah. It's gross.
But I did read that story of the Quebec thing. And I think it had something to do with... Are you looking it up?
What?
The story?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
Sure.
Okay, so...
But basically, what I think it was the mayor said, because people wanted to remove it or whatever, that it's a part of the history of what happened around this part in that time. And they're going to put up, like, info of why it's there and what its significance is. Like it would have been in a museum.
Okay, so...
I think it's a little weird to just have something with a Nazi emblem on it in the middle of a Quebec park, but I don't think we should forget the past.
So, and apparently, yeah, I agree. And apparently, what the point you made at the beginning was very relevant. You said context is important. And they said this predated the Second World War.
Oh, okay.
So that's very, and it used to be a sign of peace, right? It was used in Buddhist cultures.
Yeah.
So that's where context just takes the cake. You got to understand that this was not a Nazi, and what should our tolerance be to getting triggered about something like that?
I mean,
bro, you know what I heard? Did you play the new Call of Duty beta?
I did a little bit because my brother's a big Call of Duty guy.
Sure. Did you ever play Call of Duty back in the day?
Yeah, I do like Call of Duty.
Bro, it's classic. But they won't even call them Nazis anymore.
No?
It's Axis.
Really?
They won't even call them Nazis anymore.
I do know that there's no swastikas in the multiplayer.
Yeah, there's no swastikas.
I think that's kind of crazy.
That is crazy, man. It's a total reflection of our time. That's art. That's art, and it's reflecting our fucking softness. Are reflecting our ability to give the person taking it in to understand context.
I think that's... I think that's fucked. Put up the swastikas in a World War II video game, but it, like, how can you play Call of Duty and not understand that the Nazis were fucked? You know what I mean?
And yeah.
Why would you take that away? Do you have that little faith in people to understand?
And it's
the
not
context?
it's not even them being fucked. It's them even being there. Like they're just not. It's not even historically accurate.
No.
Whether it's fucked or not.
Did you hear about the other controversy though?
No.
People were getting upset because you can make your own character for multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
People were getting upset that you could customize your character to be a black female Nazi.
That's hilarious.
I know. That was the dumbest thing in my life.
That's sick, of course. God made you like that. You gotta roll with the punches.
It's just a game. Come on.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable.
I really don't like censorship, man.
It's pretty
really
crazy.
Fucked.
It's pretty crazy. It's like China. That's China.
Yeah, it's scary.
China's very sensitive. If there was censorship, we wouldn't be allowed to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Think about that. I'm not being able to freely express your ideas. That sounds like hell. Hell. I'm like, hell.
See, that kind of censorship with the game, it's like, if you don't give people the ability to understand context, like, you're taking... So... My parents never really wanted us to play violent games growing up.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. And like, they were worried about, oh, video games make you violent, all that kind of stuff, whatever. But it's like, I've never even been in a fight. I've never wanted to hurt someone. I don't own a gun. I don't want to ever touch a gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's because I understand that playing these games is not real. You know what I mean? I have that... They tried to keep him away from us, to try and censor what we could play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, that feels like they don't have faith in our ability to understand context.
Yeah, does that faith come from fear?
Yeah.
Lack of faith come from fear?
I believe so. Because they're afraid, oh, this is going to change you.
Do you think that just had to do with their generation?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? They grew up in a generation where that's how they grew up. You were censored.
Yeah.
That was that 1960s, 1970s. Nothing was really... You lived a great life, and you were not allowed to experience anything. And if it did, you'd be fucked up. Do you think that's going to change when we grow up? We're going to be like, okay, we understand.
I'm not sure.
As long as you give context, or
because
are we
we're seeing it happen again with all these SJWs. You know what I mean? Social justice warriors that want to censor everything.
We're on a mission.
But it's like...
We're warriors. How much pride do you feel in your
stupid thing that happened? I can't remember. Fuck. But it's like... You can't say anything that's not politically correct without someone trying to censor you. But it's like...
Politically incorrect?
Politically incorrect.
Yeah.
But like, why? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to create...
It's defensive. It's a defensive move. In whatever context that happens, right? Like, if someone's being politically incorrect at you, you're going to get offended. and that's where it's you wanting to censor them is going to be the defensive move.
I think that's also like ignorance or total lack of taking context into account.
Don't you think it's hard for the regular person though to like not snap into that? I've never been to the one to be like, someone says fuck you, like, no, fuck you, you know what I mean? I'm not the guy, but there's like a natural thing that happens, I believe, within the brain that just you get defensive. That's how you protect yourself. How does that develop? Not having to do that.
I also think it's more like, I also think that part of it is people don't want to try and look farther into things. You know?
But do you get lost in the moment? Do you try to get fucking carried away? Or is that just something that happens?
I think some people try because they enjoy it.
Do people really enjoy that?
Yeah.
Or is that like filling something?
Yeah.
Is that filling part of your ego?
I 100% believe that.
Is that really enjoying that shit though? Or is that just doing it to compensate for something? I mean, it's probably hard to distinct the two.
Well, I'm not sure, but I believe that for some people it's a knee-jerk response. Yeah. Somebody says something offensive and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You just instantly react. It's not a response, it's a reaction.
I think some people go out of their way and make it their mission to do that kind of shit because, I don't know, they're bored, they don't have a fulfilling life, whatever.
Just want to cause shit. It's the internet.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, the other day I saw this post that one of my friends' mom posted on Facebook about NASA.
I was gonna say, what the fuck is NASA, bro?
About NASA saying there's going to be 10 days of night in November.
Oh yeah,
you saw that?
Are people retarded?
Well, listen. I saw that and I was like, that doesn't sound right. So you know what I did? I researched it.
Same.
I went to look for context.
Yeah.
And it's complete bullshit.
Of course.
But I'm like, why would you post that to your Facebook?
I saw multiple friends share that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. People don't look beyond what the surface level is of things. And I think that's why there's so many people who fucking call themselves, or I don't know if they call themselves, but go out of their way to like attack people who are being offensive because they don't care about the context or they don't bother to go find out what it is. You know what I mean?
And they're just, ego is in the way of
and I find that's really crazy.
Yeah.
If I see something that's weird, I want to know why that's there, and I want to know what led to this happening.
You have some curiosity.
Well, I don't take things like, you can't believe everything you hear. You gotta use your brain. You gotta do a little deduction.
Yeah, how important, how it just like that. It just shows how important curiosity is.
Yeah.
With living life, you gotta question things. You gotta question things.
Always.
Yeah, what fucking idiots. What the fuck are you thinking? Like, we're all gonna die then. This is the end. This would be everywhere, not just on fakenews.org.
I know. It was just like, what the hell? I can't understand that.
Do you think we'd all die if there was no sun for 10 days?
I don't know.
I think we would. Crops would die, right? 10 days of no sun, of no nothing.
Well, I mean, like,
animals would die because animals rely on light.
Are we talking about no sun at all? Like it just disappears?
Yeah.
Or are we talking about like in Alaska where the sun goes away for most of the year?
Well,
but it's still there and it's still heating the earth.
Well, Alaska, that only happens in Alaska. It would be full then, and around us would be. You know what I'm saying? The Earth.
So you're talking about the sun still existed,
just magically vanished in the sky.
If the sun just was gone, then we'd die.
Who turned out the lights?
Yeah, we'd die. The Earth would freeze right away.
Who turned out the lights? I guess so. Instantly. Mm-hmm. No, I think the fake news story was that it would go blue. And there would just be no light from it. We'd still get the UV.
I don't remember. I read it and I was like, this is stupid. And I looked it up and I was like, fuck, what the hell?
Retarded. Multiple of my friends post that.
Just comment, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, like, but see, I won't even do that because I think fighting over Facebook's retarded.
Yeah,
just look at it and shake my head.
Me too, John.
No, you like you're a shit talker, bro. You like to talk shit.
Fuck.
It's natural. I talk shit too. I talk mad shit. I feel like I've talked more shit in my life right now than I ever have.
Oh yeah?
It's not good. I'm not saying it's good. But it just happens.
Uh-huh.
Anything you want to end on? Anything?
Don't believe everything you read.
Yeah.
Look stuff up. Look for context.
Yes. Investigate.
Try a little bit of understanding, because not everyone that makes a racist joke is a racist. Right, Evan?
I hope not, or I'm fucked for you. They're coming for me. All right. Is that what you want to know? And appreciate people.
Yeah, appreciate people.
Appreciate people. Appreciate the people in your life. It's like, that's just the key to everything.
Yep. Because without people, we're nothing.
Happiness lies on the other side of gratitude. Not on this side, on that side.
Don't fear technology.
But it'll probably kill you.
Fuck North Korea.
But love them at the same time. Good night.
Good night.